Hey guys, today we're going to do a review on Type 61. It's a 7.3 Tier 4 Japanese tank. Now the two games you're going to see are actually from my last night's live stream, so you are going to see my stream chat on the side because I haven't quite figured out how to record and set it so you don't see that at the same time. Because I've set up a new computer and everything like that, so I'm kind of in the process of getting all my old settings back since I lost everything. So that's why things are going to look a little different than they normally do. So, we're here on Corellia, and, well, yeah, we're in a bottom tier game. That guy died the instant we left spawn, from a T-62. So, I'm glad I was on the outside of him, and not between him and the shot, because that would have sucked. So, I just want to get past that, get into low cover. I have to use the mobility of this thing to get away from that T-62, because the action in this game has already started. Now, in a top tier game, when you're completely down tier, you can still perform just fine in this tank, so long as you have the heat. Without the heat, I'm sorry, you're screwed. You need the heat. Luckily, it's only a tier 2 upgrade on this, so, whoops, follow notification. Anyways, you need the heat on this thing. Without it, it's not very good. It's like an STB1 that's slightly more maneuverable going forward. However, this thing's big Achilles heel is it cannot back up. It's got like a 3 km/h downhill reverse speed, so you can't like peak ridgelines or anything with it because it just can't get back behind cover. Despite its excellent gun traverse and stuff like that. I've also noticed the commander's cupola is rather weak. I get penned on that thing all the time and get my commander knocked out. Now here what my plan is, I want to go up over top of this hill and get in behind the entire team, providing no one else is here. So that's what my plan is when I go up here. So this thing has a very good power to weight ratio. It's basically a Leopard. That's how it feels to drive, but it can't back up, and its heat doesn't have the 400 mils of pen that the actual Leopard has. Now right here, there is a complete lapse of vision on two people. Me being one of them. So as I'm driving up over here, yeah, that's a T-62. And neither of us saw each other until way too late. Double check, make sure no one else is up here, and I get going. I'm pretty sure that's actually the T-62 that killed the guy from spawn, and that's why it took him so long to get up here. Normally he'd have been able to kill me no problem. But it all worked out in the end for me anyways. As you can see there, with the heat on this thing, you can still go right through the front T-62s, T-54s. You will struggle with IS-4Ms and T-10Ms frontally. You just have to know where the weak spots are. It's not that big of a deal. Now, where I am here is I didn't really want to be here because I'm right outside their spawn and I don't want to spawn camp. So I'm kind of debating whether I want to keep going and flank really hard because my team is starting to lose players. And at this point, I did not think we were going to win the battle. And I'm not in a bad spot to snipe them from behind, but I can't get sight on anything, so not really sure where I want to go. The one thing is that I have heard is that there are people on Reddit that are trying to get them to buff this to a 10 km/h reverse speed because it they claim it historically had a 10 km/h reverse speed. So people are trying to find documents and stuff to send to Gaijin to get this thing buffed. It's reverse speed buffed, which if it did, that would make it just outstanding. It would be almost unstoppable. It'd be such a good tank. That being said, it is still a pretty good tank. I do pretty terrible in this thing, not gonna lie, but I don't understand what it is that I do so wrong, because in my SDA or STB1 I'm positive and I do pretty well in that. This thing is more mobile, like minus the reverse speed, has a higher penetration gun, and if you aim for the ammo racks, will detonate them almost every time. So I still am not fully used to this thing. I am starting to do a lot better than I was when I first got this thing. That's probably helped out a lot by the fact that I got the heat on it now. But yeah, so still having issues me-wise, so it took me a while to get footage for these games, which is why you're seeing games from my live streams. And if you want to watch my live streams, I'll link a Twitch link to my Twitch channel in the page below. So here, this thing is an excellent flanking machine, and you can shoot things in the back, no problem. So what my plan really was just to find something like a T10 or an IT1 that was camping bush too hard, and didn't realize that I came in behind them. Now, I'd expected something like an IT1 to be just outside their spawn where I was a couple minutes ago, but there was nothing there, so I'm just going to continue driving down this road looking for tanks to shoot in the ass, because heat blows up fuel tanks rather easily. So you gotta check all my corners and make sure that I don't accidentally drive past someone that shoots me in the ass, because it's my flank. I'm the one that's supposed to be flanking. I don't want to just give them my flank for no reason. And, well, as I'm looking around, my wish has come true, and I find myself a nice juicy T-54. Now, he never sees me. I machine gun him. He still doesn't even, like, acknowledge my existence, so I just shoot him in the back of the turret and it knocks out his crew. Pretty easy kill, not much required to that, other than the fact that if he'd have been paying attention, that might have actually been hard. So, now, I want to push up, because we're losing players, so I want to help my team defend the capture point. This thing it can push rather effectively, despite the fact it doesn't have armor. Like, it can flank rather well. It can also defend well, because of its high penetration gun. It can go through the front of almost anything. It has about the same penetration as a stock Leopard or a stock M60. So if you know where to penetrate tanks with those guns, you can penetrate it with this thing. I think they have a little bit more at close range, but they drop off at range because they're Sabo and this is heat. Now this thing has a few options in shells. It gets the M82 shell, the heat shell, and the HE and a stock shell. I don't remember what the HE and the stock one are, because they're so bad. But the M82 shell wouldn't be a bad idea to carry in a top tier game, but you're going to have problems with a lot of things, because even, as I mentioned in my STA1 review, that shell just doesn't have enough penetration to deal with some of those 6.7 heavy tanks. And you're going to be fighting IS-3s a lot more, you're going to be fighting IS-4s a lot more, you will be fighting T-10s. All that stuff that the STD1 won't see. STA1, sorry, won't see. So, I'm just trying to find a good defensive position to take up and help my team defend the capture point. Because at this point, that was our best chance at winning, rather than total team annihilation. Because we had the cap, but in about the same amount of players, and we had way more tickets. So, I saw our Leopard engaging someone over here, so I decided I'm going to come over and help our Leopard, since, well, this thing's nice and mobile, but he knocks it out no problem, so not a big deal. And I'm just trying to look at my map and decide where the people on our team are when I get shot by a T-34-100. Now, I know generally where that shot came from, but I never actually see this guy. So, judging by he shot me in the engine, he doesn't entirely know where I am. And then he just shot me in the transmission, so I'm guessing he saw me pass by a tree. So what my plan is just to machine gun the hill between me and him, because I know he's somewhere in the back of the map, so that he can't get a clear shot on me. So, because he shot me in the very front and the very back, so he didn't actually know where I was. And then the Leopard, luckily enough for me, knocks him out, because the Leopard had line of sight on him. So I'm just going to sit here and finish out this repair, and then continue my search for a nice defensive position to take up. Because you can park this thing behind a ridgeline, just make sure you kill them in one shot, because you ain't going to back up in time to get out of the way. So I decided I'm going to go on the cap and see what I can see from there. But there's a little thing that's going to interrupt our plans. It's this thing called an IT-1. Now, he doesn't see me here. I shoot him in the ammo rack. Yeah, it's an IT-1's ammo rack. Of course, it didn't blow up. It did take out his horizontal turret traverse, though. So, he's trying to get a shot on me. That one sets him on fire. I was aiming for his driver, but the fuel tanks ate everything, because he only has 3 crew, and I knocked one of them out with the first shot. So now I'm trying again for the driver, and finally he actually dies. So, now me and the Leopard come onto the cap, finish off the cap, and, well, it doesn't take long for the tickets to bleed out when we have the cap, and they don't got many tickets left. And sorry, I'm feeling a little bit sick today, that's probably why I sound kind of funny. So, we're just going to cap, get some extra XP and credits, since I don't have a talisman on this, and I kind of wish I did, because if I did, I'd almost be done my Type 60 tank destroyer. Because I've been playing it a fair amount to get heat and stuff, as I've said already, and it takes quite a bit to upgrade. So, now I'm just kind of driving around looking for what I can see, and it's not much, because, well, they ain't got much left of their team. And why is my computer shutting down? That's great. Okay, well, that's going in, because at this point, I don't know what the heck happened. All of my monitors was blacked out and came back. So, now that was the end of that game. Not much exciting happened at the end. Now we're here on Abandoned Factory. Now, on Abandoned Factory, I'm not too sure what to think of this map, because I personally don't care for it too much. But if you know what you're doing, there's a few spots you can exploit that make you almost invincible, because people can't see you, but you can see them. However, I have heat, so I can't shoot through anything. I have to be paying attention to not firing through fences and trying not to fire through walls and all that great stuff, because if I try to do that, that's when I get myself into trouble, and that's when they can see me, and I can't fire because I'm reloading. So there's a spot near the middle of the map that there's a concrete wall that goes across the map, kind of like a wall across Berlin. I mean, what? And so if you park yourself up close to this wall, you can see over the wall, and enemy tanks will have a very hard time seeing you, even with a third-person view, because of where your camera is in relation to theirs. They have to get fairly close to the wall before you can see them, or they can see you rather. But I can see over the wall with no problem. It all has to do with the point of view. So I'm gonna look around, and I don't want to push through this wall, because there's almost always a tank that comes through here, or across the middle of the map. And that's exactly what's happening. There's a tank that's going across the middle of the map, Centurion Mark 10. So I'm gonna push up, but I cannot fire through this wall because I only had heat. So I'm gonna break down the wall and just hope to hell he doesn't see me, so I can still return fire. And nope, he didn't see me. So I fire. And did you see that critical hit message? And look at the kill camera and the assist kill. The ammo rack detonation from the Centurion knocked out the gunner on that T-92. So, free assist there. That was pretty nice, not gonna lie. Would have been nice if I could have got both of them. That'd have been hilarious, but didn't quite work out. The T-92 would have just been a little bit closer. So now I'm gonna drive around, and I just pushed across the middle of the map because this was the last game of my live stream, and I was really tired, and I was not really thinking. So I know I don't want to cross gap, because then they'll know right where I am, and then they'll know that there's someone flanking them through the middle of the map, because that's kind of, interestingly enough, a good way to flank in this game, is just drive right through the middle of the map. And there's almost always a few snipers up on this hill behind here. So I'm trying to kind of get side shots in them, and then I see this guy. And, well, yeah, another easy kill there. Not too much to it. I saw them, they didn't see me. Now I took that hit, and you see the tracer go right through my tank. So I thought the shot came from in front of me, so I wanted to get up against the wall so that, well, I couldn't get fired on, because I thought the shot came from the front. And then I realized it's actually behind me, and that's when I'm like, shit, this is going to be a quick ending game. And luckily a teammate comes to the rescue and knocks out the IS-2. So, thanks to that IS-2, I now have 2 crew members left, which drastically kills your reload time. So put a shot into that IS-2, knock out his driver and his gunner. That is, now, when this thing doesn't have your loader, its load time is horrendous. I don't know what it is. Most tanks, when you lose your loader, it like doubles your reload or whatever. But this is just awful. I don't know why it just feels so much worse than other tanks. And yeah, so then I had to push that IS-2 because he was gonna get his gunner and his loader, or his gunner back and his driver back before I reloaded. So I had to push so that I could get around the side of his gun and not die. Now I got shot by machine gun fire through that wall, but I have no idea from what. I don't know where that fire, those rounds came from. But that was rather strange. So I'm just gonna kind of keep pushing around and looking for other enemy tanks. Now, what you saw with that IS-2 that I did is you can circle people while you're reloading and just keep circling them and keep circling them until they eventually die or you hit an ammo rack. Shouldn't take too many shots because this thing is fairly maneuverable so long as you're going forward. It just kind of can't do anything in reverse. It's just like nah fam, I'm not gonna do that. Why do you think I can do that? So yeah. That's really my only real complaint with this tank, is that it can't back up. If it could back up, it'd be such a good tank. And yet, I still suck in it because, you know, I'm an excellent tanker, right? Woo, go tanks. So now they're running out of players, and I'm kind of in behind their team, so not really much left to happen. But at the end of the game like this, you want to make sure that you check all your corners, because the last remaining players usually are hiding somewhere, and you just don't know where. It's just a matter of finding the few that are camping in a corner, shooting everyone that tries to kill them, because that's usually when there's like one person left on the team with 6 kills. Yeah, that's usually what's going on. Now that was just a complete lapse of vision on my part, because I am, like I said, it was like 3 in the morning. So that's going to be the end of this video. My next video will probably be a review of the Type 60 SRPG, and I will see you guys next time.